hopefully we'll leave here and get back home the same way in which we came. My name is Thomas Sapp, and I want to thank everybody for inviting me to come out and share and just say a few words. I'm not going to say a lot because everything has already been said. I'm more about doing and less about talking. My son Kareem Sapp was killed almost 4 years ago in Uniondale, Long Island. He was shot 3 times in the chest on Northgate Drive in Uniondale. And the thing that was so ironic about his murder was that there were actually witnesses that saw the murder, saw the shooter, and they refused to testify, and they refused to talk to the police department. As a result, the murderer, my son, walked around the community for 8 months. And I knew who this person was from day one. So for me as a parent, the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to go and I wanted to lash out because I knew who the person was and I could have went and rang on his doorbell. What a lot of the speakers have been talking about today is unity and support from one another. And if I didn't have the support that I had, I probably would have ended up in jail instead of the murderer. It's very important to surround yourself with positive people, and that's one of the messages that I try to give the young people today, is to have positive people in your life that can guide you through a time of difficulty in your life. So for me, instead of reaching out and going after the murder, I started the Kareem Sapp Foundation. And I was able to do that because I had the assistance of people like Ms. Robin Wheat and legislator Kavon Abrams, who helped me get my 501(c)(3). And since then, I've been going to different communities all throughout New York State, engaging our youth in activities that build self-esteem and self-worth. I'm not going to talk too long about the foundation. I'm not here to sell you the foundation and sell you the different programs that we have and what we've been doing in the community. What I'm here to talk about really today is one of the 5 institutions that socialize people into the norms of society. All 5 of these institutions are failing miserably with our kids and with the people in our different communities in different states. And that is religion, education, family, government, and media. And if you can take a choice of any one of those 5 institutions, and they are all failing miserably. I'm just going to talk about one of them, and that happens to be the educational system at this point. My belief, because I talk to a lot of philosophers and I talk to a lot of social theorists, people that try to come up with all these different theories and books to try to stop youth and gang violence. My theory is that once the powers that be allowed the word God to be taken out of the public school system, it was a setup. The enemy knew exactly what he was doing. It's almost to the point today where you have to ask permission from somebody to speak about God or to teach your child about God. In Brookville, they have a high school called Long Island Lutheran High School. Tuition is $11,000 a year. Have you ever heard of any youth in gang violence at Long Island Lutheran High School? Have you ever heard of any youth in gang violence at Holy Trinity High School? $5,000 per year to go to school, just to learn about God. These kids are getting a foundation that our kids are not getting in a public school system. And that is the problem. I don't need to pay somebody to tell me what the problem is with youth and gang violence in our youth today. It's all because they're not being taught about God. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much. What I want to do is I want to read an article right quick. That if anybody read the Daily News last Sunday, I hope people did. It was a very small article, so if you turn the pages too fast, you probably missed it. But down in Alabama, I call it Amabama, they're talking about an alternative to going to jail down in Alabama. And I'm going to read the article really quick. It says, authorities say nonviolent offenders in southern Alabama will have a new choice. Go to jail or go to church every Sunday for a year. WKRG TV reports that Operation Restore Our Community begins next week. The city judge in Bay Minette will let misdemeanor offenders choose to work off their sentences in jail and pay a fine or go to church every Sunday for a year. If offenders select church, they'll be allowed to pick the place of worship, but must check in weekly with the pastor or police. If the one-year church attendance program is completed, the offender's case will be dismissed. Bay Minette Police Chief Mike Rowland says the program could change the lives of people heading down the wrong path. So far, 56 churches are participating. 56 churches are participating. See, down in Alabama, they got the idea. It's about God. God is going to restore our community and restore our youth. Don't let anybody tell you that you have to ask to teach your child about God. God is good, and God is going to get us all through all of this. Once we continue to allow man to decide what's good and what's wrong for our children, we've all lost. Thank you for letting me share. My name is Thomas Sapp. Peace and blessings.